closed and federal employees.
I'm I am currently a junior. I am a CLEG major.
My name is Haley Hafer. I'm a junior at American University. My major is CLEG.
I work for Congresswoman Kim Schreier, who is in Washington's 8th District.
For my internship, I work in the office of Representative Mark Alford for Missouri's District 4. I applied to many different representatives' offices. Once I went through the first couple rounds of interviews, then I had heard back that I was hired for the position.
I applied to 30 places over the summer. I was canvassing over the summer for a nonprofit, and I was also an advocate for a climate nonprofit that had a lobby day. I also knew the person that was doing the interview, so I think all those things combined was very helpful for me getting in.
Answering constituent phone calls is one of my biggest tasks. The phones are ringing all day.
We log what people are talking about, and we have a system that does that. And then we also write memos. So we do various memos that are briefing the Congresswoman on meetings that are coming up, or speaking events, or if she wants to sign on to some legislation. We also do tours, which is really fun. We did one today where constituents come in, they want to see the office building, they want to see the Capitol, and we'll walk them through the Capitol, we'll do the tour with them, and that's really exciting.
I found out about the government shutdown while I was working in the office. Pretty much the first week, we had known that there was difficulties passing the continuing resolution. There was tension between both of the parties on certain fiscal matters. It was pretty much down to funding different programs, and that was the main contention.
There's never really a point that I found out about the shutdown. I knew that it was happening for a long time, and most interns did know that it was going to happen. We were having to put out media about what was going to happen when the government would shut down, and so it was very much on the top of our mind. We also were just guessing how long it might be. Most people said 6 weeks, and that was really worrying because truthfully, a lot of the value from the internship comes from meeting with other people that are working on the Hill, like getting people's information, making friends, and getting connections.
I'm Brenda Foster, and I work for a firm named Vanguard Communications. I'm also an adjunct professor here at AU. There's 750,000 government employees in this country, and when they don't work, they also don't get paid. Now, eventually you hope that they will, although there was no promise of that this time, even though we had passed a law saying that they needed to be getting back paid. But during that time, during the 45 days, they're not being paid, which also means that they are not going out to eat at local restaurants. They are not buying groceries in the amounts that they did. They're missing house payments, they're missing car payments. And all of those things have an effect on everybody in the community and across the economic spectrum.
This was my first internship, and so finding out that I was gonna be away from the office for some time was definitely disappointing because I was really looking to gain a lot of experience out of this.
A lot of it is about networking, and when you aren't working, the only opportunity you have to access your email is in the office. And your email is your ticket to connections with people because they won't sit down with you if you're going to email them from a random email.
Networking is very important on the Hill, and the way that we do networking on the Hill is through coffee chats. So asking different staffers, hey, can we go grab coffee? How did you get this job? What did you do to get here? What were your initial career plans? What do you plan to do with your career now? I feel that I didn't get to do that as much because my time got cut really short.
This was the semester that I had no other obligation, and now all of a sudden I have nothing to do 3 days a week. It was very worrying before it happened because I knew that I would not have a routine and a schedule, but I also knew that I wouldn't have access to one of the most important things about working that job, which isn't even the job itself, interestingly.
A lot of times the federal shutdown can feel like a useless exercise. It's an exercise in control and power. This one really was different because they made it so personal. They decided that, on one side you had people trying to protect the health care of Americans. On the other side, you had people saying, you know what, we're not going to fund something as basic as SNAP. So I think the fact that this shutdown was intentionally personal made it very, very difficult to try to understand it, to try to accept it.
And we begin with breaking news. The federal government shutdown in its 40th day looks to be hours away from ending.
Overnight, the Senate officially passing a bill to reopen the government, putting Congress on track to end the longest shutdown in American history.
This has been a very long road, quite literally the longest shutdown in history. I am very, very happy to be able to say that we are coming to the end.
Going back to work was kind of strange for the first 1 or 2 days. At that point, I had been working for a month and then had been off for 6 weeks. So I'd been off for longer than I was working.
The energy was a lot different in the office because obviously the other staffers in the office were coming to work for over 40 days without pay. And as you can imagine, that would definitely be pretty frustrating.
You know, when you decide that you're going to be personal in government, you know, all politics in the end is personal. And so people make a lot of decisions about who they're going to vote for, who they're going to support, whether or not they're going to vote at all, based on their own personal feelings. And so it's one thing to be very theoretical and policy oriented. It's another to take money out of people's pockets, to say you're not going to feed their children, to say that you're not going to fund the health care that keeps them healthy, and that they've learned to rely on. Being personal on this shutdown, I think, is going to have huge political ramifications.
The shutdown has pushed back a lot of bills that were supposed to be brought onto the floor. And so there's over 20 bills that he's sponsoring or co-sponsoring that have been delayed and pushed back a lot. So now there's definitely a lot of work to be done, and I can imagine it would be the same for any other representative at the moment.
It was strange at first getting back into it and remembering what we had to do on the phones, remembering what we had to do in memos, and just how to address constituents and do day-to-day office stuff.
I definitely lack a lot of the skills that I would have learned if I had done the internship full term.
I would definitely reconsider doing an internship in a government position, especially if it's one where I could be not working during a shutdown. Maybe I'd choose a Senate position where you would still have to go into work.
I would want to pursue a future in the federal government. I don't think that that would be very soon. My initial plan was to try to get a staffer's assistant job post-grad. The staff assistants manage the office and help everybody facilitate their job. As of now, my goal is to continue to pursue other internship opportunities on the Hill.
I'd still love to work in government, and it's kind of a fact of life that you're going to have to deal with a shutdown if you do work in the government.
I really want the people in my classes and the people of this generation to pursue a career in government. We need new voices, we need strong voices, and we know that this generation has a lot of opinions. And those opinions not only deserve to be heard, but they deserve to drive the decisions that we're making in this country.
Cherry blossoms bring a lot of joy each spring, and the statue of Abe Lincoln reach your eye. When parades pass in review down Pennsylvania,